Shall I ask which stories you want to know, or just few stories we speak about, and then when you remember, you can ask which stories you want. One of the story in the Murli comes of Bhasmasur. Bhasmasur, yeah? The meaning, the devil who burns himself into ashes. Asur meaning devilish nature or devil, non-divine, and bhasma is burn into ashes. But Baba links it with it that misuse of blessings. It is connected with misuse of blessings. Generally, blessings bring power, blessings bring happiness, blessings bring support and strength. Pressing brings solutions. But when they are misused, then instead of receiving the power, all the power is lost. So story is that one devil had a lot of tapasya, and Shiva is the Lord of innocence. Doesn't matter. Anyone who makes effort, God is pleased and fulfills the wish that anyone has. So this person had the desire that I want to, whoever I put my hand on the head, that person should turn into ashes. But behind this there is a story that he was worshipper of Shankar and Shiva, and Shankar always wear this ashes, and so he was offering this ashes to Shiva. And then he thought, in order to make the ashes, in order to get ashes easily, so I can prepare anything I put my hand, and that I get the ashes easily, so I can offer it to Shiva. Anyway, intention was good, but as soon as he got this blessing, his attitude changed, his vision changed. So he thought, now I have the power to burn anyone. So he saw, because in Bhakti, Shankar and Shiva, Shankar and Parvati together, so he thought, why shouldn't I get this Parvati? Like Narad had the vision to marry Lakshmi, this Bhasmasura had the desire to get Parvati as his companion. So he thought, but Parvati, I cannot get Parvati without finishing Shankar. So he ran after Shankar to put his hand on his head. Because now Shankar thought, what to do? So he consulted Vishnu and told, this is what the situation is. So Vishnu said, don't worry, I take care of this problem. So Vishnu and Lakshmi are the combined form. So Lakshmi adopted the form of Parvati and came in front of this Bhasmasur. And he said, what do you want? He said, oh, you fulfill my desire, I want you. She says, okay. But then, Shankar has the art of dancing, entertainment, and you don't know this. In order to marry me, you have to imbibe some qualities. If not, at least have the dance. He says, but I do not know how to dance. He says, she said, it's very simple, I can train you. So she said, okay, please train me. So she started First step, start with the foot, raise the hand, go here and put your hand like this. And so, one step, second step, third step, the step came here. And as soon as the hand went there, he was burned into ashes. So means if the intention is here, God gives us blessings, and we have ego and impurity, our attitude changes, we destroy our fortune. So it is that this is what the meaning behind this Bhasmasur is. The moral of that is, do not misuse the blessings, or do not have the ego of blessings, because instead of then blessed, you are cursed and you lose the power. And the other story is the third eye, Tijri. Baba speaks about the story of the opening of the third eye. That comes very often. Tijri ki katha. Tijri means the third eye. That is connected with the karma philosophy. The story goes, it's Bhakti story, but Baba links it and gets the essence of this. It goes like this, that there was a princess, and she came her parents' home, and there's once a year, there's a day of fasting where you fast for your husband. And you do not eat full day, only you eat when the moon rises. And in that day, in the remembrance, you spend the day in the respect of the beloved, and you have a swing and you enjoy. You do not use the needle and thread. It's the day, the remembrance is the swing of supersensuous joy. And so the brothers of this princess thought, how can our sister remain hungry? The whole day is past and she is not eating. So they made a plan. So it was a cloudy day anyway, so they made it some fire and reflection put in this way that it looks like the moon was there. And they told her, see, now the moon is up and rising, and so you can eat. But she says, oh, I have to do something before. So she had to do some sewing work, and she started sewing. And so what happened? When she went home, she saw that all this prince, the king, every part of her body was sewn with the needle and thread, and even the eyes were closed. She said she couldn't understand what it was, what was the reason for that. Anyway, with great love she started opening. She didn't want to. Then she realized, because when the moon did not rise and she had eaten and she had made the sewing work, and after that brothers were very happy, and then the real moon appeared. But she had done this sewing work anyway, and that had affected the husband. And so she didn't want to tell her husband to feel that the whole body is connected with the needle and with this thread, and it created that pain he would feel. So she started cutting the bondage first of the other part and left only the eyes. It took her time but the maid was very tricky. So one last day it was just only the eyes were going to open. And so she went for something for shower or what. the maid took the bondage of the eyes and told that I am your queen and the other one is maid. He had forgotten, this man had forgotten the real queen. And then now this princess could not, when she wants to say that I am the real queen, this other one says, no, she's tricky, she's making you deceived. I am your queen. And then, but then this queen had very good manners. She says, okay, let me have patience. So one time they went for sightseeing, and this queen, the king felt that the manners in this are more than the maid, the queen that says she is queen. Anyway, he asked that the maid, which was real queen, do you want anything? She says, yes, I want some dolls to play with because I don't have much time. I have so much time. And this maid says, see, she's crazy. No, she's grown-up woman and she wants to play with dolls. Anyway, the king said, she's asking no harm, so we can bring for her. And so he brought. The king was curious, what would she do, this woman, why she wants to play with the dolls. Anyway, so in the room, she would play with the dolls and she would tell the story. There was a queen, the time of change of time and deception and misunderstanding made the queen into a maid and maid into a queen. The queen became maid, the maid became queen, and then still she would dance and play with the dolls. One day king heard, what is she saying? The maid became the queen and the queen became the maid. This is the story of karma. So without consulting the maid, the real maid, which was pretending to be queen, and she met the queen, the king met her and asked, what is the story behind? And then she told that I went to see my brothers and it was the day of the husband, and in your memorial I kept this, but I was deceived. Attachment of my brothers led me to do wrong things which I should not have done, and that had affected you, and your eyes were closed. The whole body was sewn with this needle and thread, but only the eyes were there. And then this maid deceived me and pretended that she was this. And then the memory came back to him, yes, I was a prince and she was the queen. And then the maid was put into prison, and then the queen became the queen again. So this is the opening of the third eye. So this is a symbol, the body and the soul. The soul is the prince. And in body consciousness, so then the body is also faithful to the soul consciousness. And in faithful, because of being faithful to the soul, the bodily attraction, the bodily temptations, it is controlled. And she respects the nature of the soul. Even the body respects the nature, the qualities of the prince, the soul. But then as time goes, the attachment deceives the soul, the body, brings the body consciousness. And we begin to believe the things which are not right. The moon was not appearing, but brothers made believe the moon is there. And so in this way, disbelief of misunderstanding that gurus, which will look our friends, or the scriptures, or the paramat, the dictates of others, made us do wrong actions, create the karma bondage. And as soon as the karma bondages are created, then the queen becomes the maid, and the maid, the kingdom of Raman, the kingdom of Maya begins. And she becomes the queen, and those who are golden-aged prince and princesses come in the bondage of karma, and they become servants of their own senses. Their own senses were servants. And so this aspect, the senses are servant and the soul is the master. And the princess becomes the maid of her, and the Maya becomes the queen and begin to serve in this. But then the realization of this drama comes again, and the soul is free, and the third eye is open. The soul, the prince, recognizes the harmony with mind and matter, and then there's joy and there's happiness again. So this is the story of the drama and karma and deception, that how we go through and we create bondage for ourselves. But then Baba says, he comes and opens the third eye and then forms a relationship with him, and you are free again from the bondage. Yes, any other story then? If you remind me, then I can. Which one? What is it? Can't tell. Ajamil, yeah.
Ajamil story.
The Ajamil story, yeah. That this is also bhakti, that faith and love in God brings the reward. But even by mistake, you remember God, He gives you reward. And you form a relationship with Him, then He brings salvation to you. Excuse me. On the path of bhakti, there is always encouragement to remember God in whatever way you want to remember. So Ajamil was a person he was a violent person. His sustenance was based on violence. And so either it is anger, or it is greed, or it is lust, or it is killing the animals, whatever, different kinds of violence. And the whole of life he had committed wrong things. He was a sinner, well-known, famous sinner. And at time came when he was about to leave the body. His son's name was Narayan. Narayan. And so at that time he started calling Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. Vishnu thought, he is calling me. And Vishnu came in front of him and took him into heaven. So the idea is that from the copper age and iron age, there has been violence, there had been all the influence of but when Baba gives us aim and object, and even in the end of the iron age, we become aware of our aim, then we become free. So aim and object, and adopting it as like that belongs to me, then you are gone into the golden age. So means in the end of the cycle, you are liberated from your sins as soon as you become aware of your perfection. Parvati, the story of immortality. It's very interesting story, entertaining, no? Bhakti means entertainment. No? That Baba speaks about the bhakti stories are the story which please your ears, no? Which you like to have. It's a taste of them. So Parvati was listening to the story of immortality. As Shiva was telling her the story of immortality, so Parvati, this is the real story of Brahmins, no? So when Parvati means far beyond, the one who lives far beyond, has pure attitude. means souls. So I was listening, it's a symbol of one Parvati, but it is for all of us, Brahmins now. So listening to the story, and as she was listening to the story, means the Murli of immortality, where the souls have come from, how do they come in the cycle, what is your original eternal form, she fell asleep. In the Murli, we do fall asleep.
It happens.
It happens, no? So she fell asleep. Then a pigeon was listening to the story. In the hall there are many pigeons. They also listen to the story.
Go, go.
And
Yes,
so this pigeon became very interested. The story was very interesting story. So pigeon thought, let Parvati is sleeping, but the story should continue. And he said, So that he was telling Shiva that yes, Shiva thought Parvati is so interested, she started saying, And so when the story finished, Shiva asked Parvati, did you like the story? She said, sorry, I fell asleep. He says, but that you were telling, you were enjoying so much and you were saying yes. He says, no, I didn't. It was shook. It was this,
Pigeon.
the pigeon. Shiva didn't like this thing. He said, what? So he thought, now he heard the story and he became immortal. But he was afraid that Shiva might shoot the arrow and kill me. So he flew very fast. And now entertaining part comes now. So then the story writer Vyas, his wife has washed her hair and she was drying, they did not have the hair dryer, no? And so she was drying her hair in the sun. And she also felt the vibration of sleep and she yawned, opened her mouth. The pigeon thought, now I go here. This would be the safest place. So she went in the stomach there and remained there for 12 years. Now the aspect of immortality comes in this. So for 12 years, he remained there thinking if I come out, Shiva might kill me, no? So remained there. And this 12 years was that the womb was not punishment at all. It was very comfortable. It was so, he stayed there. And as soon as he took birth, he was 12 years old boy. And 12 years, but very tall. Looked very grown up, and so he ran. He didn't want to Then his father, Vyas, he ran after him. He ran after him and he wanted to call him, but then he was going. This young boy was going. And on the way, there were some women who were washing their clothes and bathing in a river. They did not have their dresses on, so they were just bathing. But they kept their swimming. They didn't even notice that somebody was passing through. When this old man came, these women started putting clothes, covering themselves. And this old man, the story writer, the scripture writer Vyas, means the cycle, the one who comes in the cycle. He said to these women, a young boy passed through and you didn't cover your body. And I'm an old man and you started covering your body. They said he didn't even notice that we were bathing. You are old but your vision is impure. You noticed that we were bathing. And the other person we didn't notice and he didn't notice. So the story of immortality makes your vision completely pure beyond the attraction of the body. And the memorial that for 1200 years in the golden age, what you hear, even if you heard like a parrot, it's a parrot. You heard like a pigeon and a parrot, but then the reward in the golden age is that the feeling is not like a womb, but feeling is like a palace. So this comes from that he 12 years means 1200 years. The womb is like a palace and vision is beyond the body attraction but as we come in the cycle, then its other aspect is vision become impure and Baba makes us pure again. And so Parvati means the soul gets the story to go beyond with adopting again the pure vision, pure attitude. And when her mind becomes completely pure, then the same Parvati is known as Sati. Sati means adopts the truth. And then next time she is connected with Shiva, and so she is called Sati, the power of truth. When the power of truth is there, she is called Uma. The mind goes up, connected with the highest God. And then she is Gauri, she is beautiful. So with the power of immortality, the story of the knowing the soul, your vision becomes pure, you adopt the truth, your connection with God is there, and the soul becomes beautiful again from ugly. This is the story of Parvati. It means the story of immortality. Yeah. Entertaining story, no? Yeah. On the Bhakti, there are many different stories, so then Baba just gives the essence. It's not the whole story applies to, but one or two aspects. Not just like Baba speaks about the snake shedding the skin. Means the idea is that you slip away from body consciousness. So what the moral behind is pure vision, pure attitude, pure behavior, and the qualities of the soul become immortal. And so in this way you get your eternal, original strength in you again. Okay. Kumbhakarna. Yeah, so Kumbhakarna is a character of the story of the cycle, brother of Ravan.
ये भी बता दो कि सत्संग में लोग क्यों सोते हैं?
क्यों सोते हैं? ये आप बता दो.
I just have a side story about why Parvati fell asleep while she was listening the story of immortality. In any congregation, if you notice, people fall asleep easily. In any Hindu kathas or any churches, that people fall asleep easily. And so it's a very funny story, the Kumbhakarna, who was the sleeping giant, and he and then his wife named Nind is sleep. And so when Kumbhakarna was killed in Ramayan war, with Ravan and Ram war, the big one war, that Kumbhakarna died. And so Kumbhakarna's wife, called Nindra Devi, means the goddess of sleep, ran to Rama and cried that you killed my husband and you're supposed to be God and you made me widow. And so now what should I do? Because Hindu widow is very painful thing to happen to oneself. And so Ram felt very pity on her, and because he killed her husband, he gave her a boon that, okay, I give you blessing that wherever my name is taken or my story is given, your presence will be there. And so wherever God's name is chanted or God's sermons are given, everybody not everybody, but people fall asleep, and that's why it's it's a funny thing, but in Bhakti is a very amazing thing that everything makes sense. The way they fit the stories in Hindu scriptures, everything has a reason and makes sense. So this is how they fit it, that why people fall asleep in a religious gathering. So now Didi will tell the Kumbhakarna story. So when you fall asleep, think that the goddess Nindra is
so it means
present.
So it means Ravan's sister-in-law has come in the gathering
To visit you.
to visit you, so don't allow it.
But it's God's blessing,
No, but it is a blessing.
It's an excuse.
An excuse. No.
It's
An excuse to fall, just
So
like.
we have so many excuses that why I fall asleep.
And
Why
then-
can't I wake up in the morning? Why
No, this-
can't come to the class?
So people say, "Oh, I meditation was so good, no? I felt so relaxed, and in that relaxation, I had wonderful experience. I was so close to Baba. I had such a deep, deep peace, no? So this is an excuse, no? It is not that because of sleep you had deep. So it's sometimes our body consciousness allows us to permit ourselves to do the things which is supposed to be wrong, but we make it right. It's a very funny way, means a royal way of Raman overpowering us, no? Story of Kumbhakarna. Kumbh means a pitcher, a pot, and Karan means the ear. And when you speak something in a pot, it echoes and it comes back to you. The sound does not stay in the pitcher, the sound comes back to you when you speak in a pot. And so this Kumbhakarna was brother of Ravan. And he had also done a lot of bhakti, and he got the blessing that he would like to sleep because he liked to sleep. So for 6 months of the year he will sleep, and for 6 months of the year he will wake up. So he was awake for 6 months and sleep for 6 months. So this is again the cycle of the story, of the story of the cycle, that golden age and silver age is the 6 half period of the kalpa. So we remain awake. Copper age and iron age is next half of the cycle. We sleep in the sleep of ignorance, sleep of vices. And so, because he was brother of Raman, he was sleeping. When Rama invaded Raman, so Raman wanted help of Kumbhakarna. So Kumbhakarna would not wake up. And so that many drums were beaten, a lot of water from the pipe was given. So many big things were made. Only then Kumbhakarna woke up and said, "Oh," and then opened the eyes and go to sleep again. So it is when the meaning is that there are 2 aspects of our personality. Some have the monkey nature, jumping mind but very active. So one aspect of our personality is like a monkey who jumps from one place to another place, other place to other place. And the other aspect of our personality is laziness. The mind goes to sleep to laziness very quickly. And it is our mind that is so active, jumps from one branch to another branch, another branch to another branch. And so when God comes to liberate the souls, the Sitas, he takes the support of the monkeys, monkey mind, active mind. And monkey has 5 vices. So this is active part, passive and active part of the personality. So we have the nature of copying each other. Mind wanders here and there, and the nature of copy. If somebody has done something, and so you want to do the same. Other person would have made not a thing right, but you take excuse and do the same. And so, or copying in that way in materialism. Making mistake as well, doing wrong things because others are doing so, I can also do. And also in materialism, that you might have a nice television at home, but you don't have the color television, and it's a fashion of color television, so I have color television. I have a tape recorder, it can do, but now others have CD, so I should also have CD player. Now the fashion is changed, something else is very comfortable, so I also have. I have my settee, nice, comfortable, but my neighbor has got a very attractive, comfortable settee, so I should also have it. So we copy. Is the nature of human being. And also jumping from one branch to another branch, one aspect to other aspect. But God takes the support of such souls, who then become faithful, obedient. So it is jumping mind, monkey mind, but company of God makes us obedient and faithful. And so these become helpers of God, this aspect. And then when the Rama took the army of monkeys in order to liberate the Sita, now the other aspect of our personality is faithfulness to God, belonging to God, our pure personality to Rama. But that was influenced by Ravan, by the story of that deception of a deer and not following the code of conduct which was given, forgetting the aim and object. Because all these names are symbolic, has a meaning behind. Lakshaman. Lakshya means aim and object, and man means mind. The mind had the aim and object, that please keep your aim and object in front of you, then you are safe. You are not deceived. The moment you break the aim and object, then the negativity will adopt the positive form and you will be deceived. And so the story that Ravan comes in disguised form as a holy man and thinking this is a holy man and I want to give charity. So in the name of good action, in the name of not displeasing anyone, so she crossed the line of code of conduct and became trapped in the jail of Ravan. So sometimes we want to please others. Sometimes we want to do wrong things which we, by forgetting our aim and object. And then Rama takes the part. Rama comes and liberates us by taking our active part. But some aspect of us is very much deep asleep. And so Baba says, those who are this lazy mind and also ignorant, then companion of Ravan, which is brother, symbol of Ravan, so have to wake up and they take time. So wake up the Kumbhkarnas, means those who are sleeping in the deep slumber of ignorance. It's not only from outside the people, but our own personality, which goes to sleep and doesn't listen, doesn't become aware that God has come. So this faith, this realization should be there. And so we are awoken and then the Sita is liberated.
Angad's story.
Yeah, you do?
I don't. Only thing I know about Angad is who was the companion of Hanuman, and Sugriv, and they were the monkey army, the head of the monkey army that Ram met when Ram was going to win Ravan and looking for Sita. And so the story goes back to, because in Hindu belief that Ram and Krishna, there are the same soul takes different birth, and its next birth was Krishna that he takes birth, and Angad was Angad took another birth or something. You remember the story that then a time of Pandavas and Kauravas that they were passing through the forest, and at that time Angad was, it was Hanuman, he wasn't Angad, wasn't it? Hanuman. Mm-hmm. So Angad, the meaning of Angad Baba talks about is the very unshakable, and nobody could move, even a hair of his tail, even a mighty one like a beam, that strongest warrior even could not move. So in a yoga, as a yogi, we become so Mahavir as a Angad. That Angad means who put his foot down on the ground that nobody could shake. So that much significant I know, but I do not know if Sudesh Devi knows the detail. Do you know the detail?
So the aspect what Baba wants to give the example is the story in that then we went, because he was also one of the monkey aspect of the personality, but he was unshakable. So when he went to give the message to Raman that please, Rama is invading now, coming, and before Rama comes, why do you allow Rama to come and destroy your kingdom? Let the Sita be free. And he says, who are you? He says, I am one of the commander of the army. First you test me and then you fight with Rama. Why do you fight with the commander, the main? So you can try me. And he said, okay, here I put my foot, and if any one of you can shake, then you would be able to know if one person has so much power in the self. Imagine whole army of Rama, how powerful it would be. So why are you fighting with Ravan? Rama, please surrender. Ravan surrendered to Rama. And so he put his foot, and so many big powerful souls came to shake the foot, and they thought perhaps this person has put the nails under the ground. Nobody can shake.
Could shake.
Nobody could shake it. Then Ravan came himself, and he said to Ravan, why are you bowing to me, touching my feet? Go and touch the feet of Rama so he can liberate you. So he put his foot out, up. So meaning is Angad. Angad means the organs of your body. Ang means organs. That when you have belong to God, no matter how monkey mind you were, no matter how fickle you were, but relationship with God brings the power in you to stop the fickleness, because eyes become fickle, ears become fickle, mouth become fickle, hands are. So our organs are the ones that create fluctuation. When mind is focused on God, and stability is when you begin to enjoy the relationship with God, fidgetity khatam, is finished. Or you can sit for 1 hour and hand and feet do not move. 2 hours, 3 hours will pass and you are sitting and the organs are stable. So means pure vision. So vision is focused on God. Ears are focused on. You are not interested in gossip. You are not interested in seeing the mistakes of others, because these bring fluctuations. So every organ of the body which was creating fluctuation, then your relationship with God makes you unshakable. So many situations will come where your eyes might get angry or might get tempted, or your ears get heated by hearing the defamation, or might be creating proud by hearing the praise. Unshakable, whatever you are, just every part of the soul, the mind, body and sanskaras and your organs are not influenced, and there's unshakable faith, immovable like a mountain. And this is the story that becoming Angad. Let every organ of the soul and the body complete, stability and strength in you. This is why it's called being Angad. And when this instability, unshakable stage brings the great joy, so it's a balance. Gad means the joy. So when you are unshakable, only then each organ, which because of the stability brings the super sensuous joy. So Angad. Ang and Gad means joy. So let the stability bring immense joy in you, that you are unshakable, you are immovable. So faith, no one can fluctuate, create any doubt in you, and no one can shake you, fluctuate you, because your faith and your relationship with God is so strong. And so you become example of God's power. So nothing, you are a messenger of God, but you prove the God's power that Maya cannot shake you. So this is the meaning behind this, Angad. On one side was a very fluctuating mind, but here you become very stable. Okay?
Sorry? Sudama's story.
Yeah, Sudama's story is the love and faith. Whatever you give to God with love and faith, generosity. Baba is so generous. Generosity of God and openness and your faith in God. It's also very interesting aspect that Sudama, this is subtle karma. In the Bhakti they have shown that God gives reward of whatever. The story goes that Krishna and Sudama were friends. They were studying in the same school. Sudama was very poor and Krishna was a prince. They were studying with the same guru, and once Guru sent them to get some wood from the jungle. In Gurukul they show that prince or ordinary is the same. When you are in godly service, it is not a question of who is from which family, ordinary or special. In Baba's eyes are all children. And so then they went, and Krishna felt hungry. And so Sudama had some chickpeas in his pocket, and he gave him to eat. But then Krishna was obliged for that, because he needed something to eat, and this poor person gave him to eat. He was very friendly. Anyway, so this time passed, and Krishna became got the kingdom as his kingdom, and he was there. And this poor Sudama was poor. Anyway, for a long time they didn't meet. And a time came when Sudama had nothing. His wife said to him, "Your friend, old days friend, is a prince, is a king. Can you not go and get something from him?" So she gave him, there was nothing in the home to give, so she had some dry rice. And this dry rice she gave. And so when he reached in torn, worn clothes, at the door he told Krishna that please tell Krishna that his friend Sudama had come. And when Sudama came, Krishna was so pleased, so he washed his feet and he made him sit on the throne and asked him, "What have you brought for me?" And he was ashamed. He said, "I have only little bit rice, nothing else." And so he said, "No, but give me." And so he ate that rice. and asked him to stay a few days with him. And in that time, he built the palaces for him. And when he went back, he did not see his place. He says, what happened? Somebody has broken my old house, and I don't know where my wife and children are. And his wife was standing at the palace and said, please come. See, in your absence, Krishna had ordered to build this palace. So the story is that when you give anything to Baba with love, it might be very little, but not that you have much and you give little, that does not mean. You don't have anything and yet you give. And some think, oh, Baba says, even you give a handful of rice, so they keep the big thing, good things for self, and they keep to Baba very little. They don't understand the karma philosophy is that if you don't have, even if you don't have, and yet you give, you get reward. But if you have and you use your things for others and give to Baba, oh, Baba says, even if you give me a handful of rice, you get the palace. The secret is with love, with faith, even if you don't have. Because the story goes like this, that this wife borrowed the rice from neighbor. She did not have. She borrowed from someone and sent it. So much love was there and so much faith was there. So if with love and dedication, even a small amount is given, in return, Baba gives the palaces. So this is the story of Sudama. Okay. Now we finish with 3 minutes of silence. And downstairs, 12:30, Dadi Janki will meet all the Europeans, UK. And
there is a Ganges of knowledge sitting next to me, and so I had a few stories to share which frequently people ask about. Satyanarayan's story, Gulle Bakauli's story, and Sudama's story that we just heard, and some other stories that Pandavas and Kauravas stories and Yadav's stories. So some other time when we need a story time, we will share that. So thank you. Om Shanti.